This week's show brought to you by Roosters, a fun casual joint. Frank Shoup, Georgetown's big name in cars.
Welcome everybody to episode 4 of the News Graphic Scott County Lady Cardinals Coaches Show. We're here to talk about the undefeated start, the best start in school history that we can see. We know the 95 team only lost 2 games on its way to a state title, but 8-0 at the start of a season, believed to be, from our records, the best it's been. Certainly in the Coach Steve Helton era of the last 18 years, it's the best start. The 7-0 previously from 2003 and 04 was the leader in that category. Last year's team won 6 straight games to start the year, and this year's Lady Cards have gone 8-0 out of the gate, leading into this week's Traditional Bank Holiday Classic at Lexington Catholic, which should be entertaining for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is the level of competition. The Cards will be facing, actually they're one of 4 teams that are kind of consensus top 10 teams in the state. Ranked number 10 in at least one poll that I've seen were the Lady Cards in the preseason, and there are 3 schools. Murray's in there, Mercy's in there, and I believe George Rogers Clark also fits into that category. So there's going to be some great competition. There's also a chance in the second round, Lady Cards have a first round bye. They could play South Warren in the first round. That would be a matchup. Actually, that would be a second round game. It would be a matchup of 2 of the top 4 scoring teams in the state. The Lady Cards checked in this week among the KHSAA leaders at number 1 at 83 points a game, and second isn't even close right now. It's just been a blistering pace. The Lady Cards hit that magic number of 83 in what is their longest road trip, what was their longest road trip of the season, to Muhlenberg County on Friday night. They rode the charter bus down and back, over and back as it were, for a one-off game at Muhlenberg County. Took a big lead in the third quarter and held on for an 83-70 victory. It's just been scoring balance and defense turning into offense so far, and that was the key again that night. As Morgan DeFore, Malia Owens, Peyton Riddle each got their points, and they held off a late rally by Muhlenberg County, most of it from the 3-point line and the foul line, to win comfortably. And that was on the heels of a victory over Frederick Douglass earlier in the week. That made the Lady Cards a commanding 3-0 in the 42nd District. It doesn't look like there's going to be many challengers in the regular season. And of course, that's the first big goal as Scott County looks forward to the 11th Region Tournament later on, and of course, hopefully, the state tournament up in northern Kentucky. Getting back to the holiday tournament at Lexington Catholic, I may have misspoken. After that first round bye, in the second round, Scott County would play the winner of Hazard versus Scott High on Thursday night. That's a 9 o'clock tip. And potentially South Warren or Cooper, who they've already met once this year. That would be a 7:45 Friday night tip. And then Saturday, with a semifinal game in the morning and a final in the evening. That's if they stay in the championship bracket. There is a consolation bracket. That's why it's easy to get a little confused here. A lot of teams, a lot of good competition from all around the state playing in that one. And a chance for a lot of the Cards to be seen by a big audience. A lot of college coaches will be there. A lot of fans. Going to be an exciting time. And beyond that, when we get to next week, we'll talk about the Lady Cards going to Ohio. And that's going to be fun for a Thursday, Friday back-to-back against some of the top teams from up that way. In the meantime, we spoke with Coach Helton about the 2 wins last week to push the Cards to 8-0. He's not really impressed by the record at this point. He's saying all the right things as a coach. 1 game at a time and worry about where we go after that. But he's excited. That being said, he's very excited about the chance to play several great opponents back-to-back in that Lexington Catholic tournament. If the Cards can get through it, it'll be certainly a feather in their cap going forward. But regardless, at this point in the season, it's just a great trial for what lies ahead. Let's see what Coach Helton had to say about the week that's passed and the week that's ahead for the Lady Cards.
Coach Helton isn't overly excited about the Lady Cards' sensational 8-0 record.
You know, it's just game by game right now. We're trying to get better in practice every day. And you know, the next opponent, that's how we're approaching it. You know, it is, we have gotten off to a good start. Very pleased where we're at. We did our first term grades this morning as far as our first 8 games, because you know we're almost a third of the season.
B minus still, C plus.
Free throws, we need a teacher, coach, parent, official meeting because we've given up 206 free throws and we we've yet to shoot 100. So that's one glaring stat. But other than that, you know, we're very pleased where we are. We do have some work to do, and you know, numbers tell a certain part of the story, but then you know, on the court, there's another part of the story.
The free throw disparity may be a product of Scott County's aggressive defensive style.
To an extent, it tells me though, we're settling for the perimeter shots a little bit. We're not taking the ball to the rim as much, but then you flip the side of that, and we're shooting, you know, high 40s from 2-point range. So, you know, and we're shooting right at 30% from 3-point line. So, you know, the shot selection is key right now. I think there's some times we are settling for the outside jumper. I also think anytime a team presses, a team that's very aggressive defensively, and right now we're a team that's leading with our hands when we are our feet, we will get those, you know, we'll get in the bonus a little bit quicker than most teams do against us. So, you know, at this point, we're surviving, but when we start playing better competition and the games start mounting up, we do need to at least balance it out a little bit.
Scott County's week included a big district win over Frederick Douglass.
You know, Douglass was a big win for us. It was a district game, so it was very, you know, important because we knew first time Scott County and Douglass had ever played girls basketball, so it was you know, it was Army game of the week, so it was a big deal for the kids. And you know, then you know, we had a day of preparation, and we got on a bus and drive for 3.5 hours. And you know, we told them, you know, unless you're, you know, the major, you know, Division I, a lot of times, you know, NAIA level, D2, D3. Even lower D1s, you're going to get on a bus, you're going to travel 3.5 hours, and then you go and be expected to perform. You know, Coach Harper, we knew each other from years back from Muhlenberg North. I mean, incredible job they do. They run a 5-out offense. All 5 players shoot the 3. All 5 players drive the ball. So it was a really, really good game for us defensively. Third quarter, you know, first half, you know, we were both throwing pretty good punches at each other, not literally, but we were throwing some good, you know, we were making a really good play. They'd come back and they'd answer and make a really good play. Third quarter, we really stretched it out, and you know, the way the game, that last 4 minutes, the clock just stopped. We could not get that clock to move. We went out, we had a 23-point lead with about 4 minutes left, and then it kind of turned into a free throw shooting contest down the stretch. But you know, after that game, I was tickled because that was a good win against a good team, their home event. And it was a good test for us on the road to see how we respond. You know, our conversation afterwards was, he's like, we don't know how to guard you because you can score it off 5 positions. And, you know, in reverse, I was like, hey, we love your offense because you run a 5-out spread. And, you know, it was something that I think they took something from the game, and we took something from the game as well.
Scott County's week included a big district win over Frederick Douglass and an impressive road victory at Muhlenberg County.
Great learning experience for me, for our staff. You know, you always think the way we play is just run and gun, 90 mile an hour, and, you know, first open shot, we want you to take it, and, you know, we want you to attack the rim. But, you know, as the season progresses, we're going to get in positions where we're going to have, you know, time and score, shot selection. And so we pulled out one of our delay games. It's not, now, you know, I'm a Carolina fan, and you know I love Dean Smith. It wasn't the 4 corners, but it's a version of the 4 corners. And when we went into that, it was like deer in headlights. We didn't handle that real well, and that was all on Coach right there, because it was a great learning experience for me. With certain teams, I think our best offense and was just to keep attacking. And we tried something, didn't work. Note to self, next game plan, next practice, we got to work on that. And that's what we're going to do, because there will be a time when we're going to take, you know, a minute off the clock, or maybe we may need to take a last shot. And, you know, we're going to have to be able to handle the pressure and be able to make the right shot, take the right shot. Not only make it, but take the right shot at the right time.
There will be no shortage of top-notch opponents at the Lexington Catholic tourney.
I believe we're looking at 24 teams, and depending on what poll you look at, you're looking at 10 to 12 teams that are top 25. We're blessed in the sense of we got that first round bye, so we don't play until 9 o'clock on Thursday night, which will be good for us. We get that 1 day of extra preparation, but every single game on that schedule, winner's bracket, consolation bracket, should be on paper. It should be a battle. For no matter who it is. And that's one of the things about we stayed close to home this year, and in order to stay close to home, we wanted to play in if not the top tournament in the state of Kentucky around the holidays. I think this is it, because of the talent level, because of the exposure for your kids. Yes, we want to perform well. Yes, we want to play well. But also, we want to give our kids a chance to be seen. And there will be a lot of exposure at this tournament. A lot of college coaches will be there just peeking, looking around, and if they're not there to see us, maybe they'll see us and hang around and see a kid play and say, hey, that puts them on a radar. So it'll be a great holiday test for us. And again, this don't make or break our season, but we're going to approach it game by game, day by day. Short turnaround times for our games, and we better get ready to play every game. And depending on who it is and where it is, we know we better come to play because every team in this tournament is going to pose different threats for us. So we're excited to be in it. We've won the consolation bracket over there a few years ago, and we really want to stay out of that side of the bracket this year, and hopefully make a run at it game by game, and hopefully be playing Saturday night in the championship.
All right, that was Coach Helton, and you got the little breakdown of the tournament. He mentioned some of the teams you might be seeing there, and we won't even get into all the individual players because it's like a who's who of KHSAA girls basketball standouts from all across the grade classifications and all across the enrollment classifications. It's going to be a great tournament. Hope you can turn out real close to home at Lexington Catholic. Last year, Scott County went all the way to Texas for his Christmas tournament, so we didn't get a chance to see that one, but this is an exciting chance. Almost a home game on the road for the Lady Cards. Getting to our weekly guests, our special guests, our players, Malaya Williams. She's an exciting sophomore, 6'1" something. She's just a unique talent, though. She can block shots, she can score down low, but she can also defend and shoot from the perimeter. She can dunk the ball, or is working on dunking the ball. I've seen her almost do it in practice. She's going to talk a little bit about that. And Zephaniah Gray, a top transfer to the team this year. She's kind of that spark plug, one of the first couple of players off the bench. Great at turning defense to offense, getting into the other team's head defensively in that half-court trap and in that full-court press, and doing some damage that way. Let's see what Malaya Williams and Zephy Gray had to say about the season to date and the tournament coming up.
The 8-0 start is believed to be the best in the history of the Scott County girls program.
It's very exciting, like how we can play against other good teams and stuff and still be undefeated.
Scoring balance and transition have been the keys for the Lady Cards.
The key to success so far for us is basically being able to score as a team and play defense, because that is a big part of our game system kind of thing. So if we don't play defense, if we can't get any buckets, defense is where we have to score from.
We're trying to take the ball. So with my length and me being in front of them trying to stop it, makes it harder for them to score.
Both players think of defense as their primary role on the team.
I mean, I can play a guard and a center.
I think I bring more defense. Some games I haven't really been scoring, so I feel that my defensive game has really helped and contributed to our game so far, our wins.
Being relatively new to the Scott County program is always an interesting adjustment.
Before I came here, they played me as a center, so it's new to me, especially now that I start.
Just with the system, it's been a little tough to fit in, but I've known them for a little while, so kind of that chemistry is there.
In her spare time, Malaya is working on dunking the ball, while Zephaniah is getting accustomed to the new, quicker style of play.
I started working out with a coach over the summer, and then at practice I tried, and I got up. So ever since then I've been working on my legs.
Compared to where I was, it's very different, more upbeat. Where I was at is kind of like slow it down, run plays, but here it's more of run and gun type of play. So.
The Muhlenberg County trip was Scott County's longest bus ride of the year.
I think it's good because when the travel you have to stay focused and get focused because that was a good 3-hour drive. So us getting off the bus and being on the bus for so long, it kind of gives us a test to stay focused and play as a team and just go out and play as hard as we can.
The Lexington Catholic tournament promises a high level of competition in every game.
I'm looking forward to the competition because we haven't really played like a top team. And seeing how we play this week in the tournament debate, like it goes on to how we play throughout this rest of the season. So I can't wait to see how we play.
I am looking forward to it. I haven't played in a tournament like that with a lot of good teams, top 10 teams actually. So just being able to be in that tournament is a blessing to me, and to play with this team is a blessing.